Hello again, neon friends. I'm doing another video about neon sign history, trivia, background information, and printed media. And today I'm showing the Blazek neon family's new book and some old German neon catalogs. You know I like beverage and beer neon signs, and these are both in that topic. Dean Blazek is in the Guinness Book of World Records as the oldest active neon bender. And as the title suggests, he has been working for 70 years in neon, founding a handful of companies. And if you think, I have heard that name before somewhere, then maybe you have one of these. He made these 3 books with the neon alphabets. This one is for script letters, capital and lowercase, and it always has the frontal appearance and then instructions and a sequence on how to bend them. So you have to know these books are from a time where you couldn't just go on the internet and look up neon making or neon patterns or download a new font, let alone have AI design you a script cocktails word or whatever. So these were really valuable and useful for the neon shops, and they would make their designs with these books, draw the letters off or put them on a photocopier, scale up and scale down. And this is how the shops made their designs in the 80s and 90s. So this book is a mixture of history, lots of photos, and the memoirs of Dean, written by his son Michael, who works as a neon maker in Australia, but Dean is American and they are from America. And I'll show you some from the inside. This is, I think, in the Northern Neon Shop, which is the most known shop that he founded in Wisconsin. This is Dean. And this is you see in the background, this is Dean and Michael who wrote the book, and the other brother Jay. And in the background you see the original sign that was made as the title photo for these. So there's lots of history and trivia in here, and different guests have written articles. Dean has written a few texts himself. So he started as a sign painter for Everbright and worked for some time at Everbright, also parallel to Northern Neon. This is him high up in the sky painting a sign. First company car. That's a cool picture. Lots and lots of interesting information. I haven't read it all. These are some mass-produced signs at Everbright where Dean worked on parts. And another thing that this family is famous for is the neon workshop. For 20 years they had a neon school where Dean used to teach new students how to bend neon, and there's many still active neon benders in the US who remember well that they learned their trade from Dean Blazek. Pictures from the second neon class taught there. And then there's more. Here's Dean showing a student a detail of bending and a group photo of people learning there. And as it says here, bending on tap 30,000 times. So the Northern Neon production and the school were running parallel for a long time, which was useful in both directions. He would teach new benders that would then partially stay in the company to help in the production. Another school finishers photo. Some more students and student work. And here's one of the mass-produced science background stories that I like so much, about a contract for 6,000 of these old-style crest neon signs, where I built myself a replica a few years ago because I liked the design so much and I couldn't find an original here in Germany. I think it says it took almost 3 years to complete the 6,000 signs. a rather new photo of the extended Blazek family. Dean was also involved with the founding of Warden Traditional Neon. I'm honestly not sure if it's Warden glass is the same or not, but these are pictures of the Warden company and some of the signs that were mass produced there. And Dean also has a big collection of signs in the buildings of Northern, and there's also this sign park in the outdoors that they set up. So I love the book. The stories that I've read so far were all super interesting and sweet. So this is another clear recommendation from me to get this book as long as you can. It's very interesting. Not only beer science, it's also general neon and advertising history of the times. Follow the Signs, Dean Blazek's journey. And these two are old catalogs from A&S American Neons, a German company that in times made the most amount of neon per year from all the German companies, for example, these Coca-Cola signs in high amounts. They did their glass bending partially in Germany and partially at a partner company in the US, so they imported the glass. And if I'm informed correctly, I think the assembly was always in Germany. Yeah. So founded by Christopher Sheldon. I've seen two old TV clips from him. If I find them, I'll put the links in this video's description, where he explains that he got into the neon topic as a hobby really. So he had a little amount of signs decorating his home, and then people would approach him and said, hey, can you get me a Budweiser sign? Hey, or how can I get a custom sign? And that's really how the business started and how he got in times the biggest neon company in Germany. So this is an older catalog with more generic contents, and this is a special Coca-Cola catalog. I don't think they have dates. If I had to guess, I would say this is probably from 96, and this might be from 2002 or so. So let's look at the older one first. And here's their color table. So they decided for a limited number of neon colors that they would offer. And this is in the 90s. Neon was in trend in Germany. So there's all kinds of generic neon stuff, like these framed pictures with a single neon tube in them. And this is, I heard, the old sample wall from the American neon company that they partnered with. I always found this pet food sign really cute with a little cat and dog, but it's impossible to get in Germany. Generic signs without a brand. More generics. There's the first brands here, Reebok. Freestanding sculptures. Clocks. So in this company, they used to call the signs on metal stick frames 50s, because I think that design started being made in the 50s. So these were some of the original American signs that they could find for you. Decorative sticks for shop windows and so on. And this is just supplies and transformers. That's the first electronic model of Tunewell, British electronic transformer manufacturer. Yeah, located in the northwest of Germany. And now for the cola catalog. So these are all official and licensed. They were the official sign maker for neon signs for Coca-Cola for a longer time. Here's the color palette again and some general introduction. Technical information. And here come all the Coca-Cola products. This is probably the most made. I don't know the number, but I'm sure they made a 4-figure amount of these. And in the 2000s, this was also one of the most seen neon signs in Germany. Germany never had as much beverage and beer neons as the US. And I don't know if they made all of these designs. It could be that there's some prototypes in here where they probably not made more than a single one. Because many of them I have not seen in reality, but of course they were made in much lower numbers than this one. So I own one of the, or two of the double stroke. I have one of the single stroke in black box. I don't have any of these. Also, I've never seen a Cola Light in reality, let alone this Olympic. You see there's only a graphic. So maybe it didn't even go past the sketch graphic and not into bending. Cherry Coke. So there was a time where Coca-Cola had a neon sign for really all of their products, also the niche products. I always liked this old Fanta logo, but I don't have this sign. I have one of these. I'm not sure if it's the white or the orange background. Cherry Coke is cool. I have this Sprite and I have this Mezzo Mix. It's a popular German drink of half cola, half orange lemonade. Bon Aqua is the mineral water. Don't have any of these. I have Kinley single tubes, but not the box. And here's the word 50s again for the metal stick frames. I have this one. And I have the cartoon truck that I'm very proud of. I know from first hand that only around 50 of these were made. And I was very lucky to find one of these. So A&S was the official licensed neon maker for Cola, and you see that on this little R letter here for the copyright. The original signs, at least in Germany, all have this little standoff with the R in a circle. I've seen one of these in reality, pretty big and beautiful, but I could never find it. I haven't seen any of these. And now we're at clocks. Not really my field of collecting. Lots of variants of the clocks. Images with a single neon highlight. Decorative sticks in general. Little eye-catcher things. They offered to make a custom combination for Cola signs, and their packaging was top of the line. I remember that it had big foam parts in the corners, and the plug was accessible from the outside, so you could plug it in, so you could tell the carrier if it's broken or not even before unpacking it. Again in the northwest of Germany, but they moved a few times to bigger places. And that was the Cola catalog. Thanks for watching. Please come back for more. Bye.